A farmer with his cows in the field counted 196 of them, but when he rounded them all up, he had 200. Hello, everybody. I'm SparkleDart. How are you doing today? I was thinking a little bit about how not too long ago the government, I guess, was talking about having online identities. Like if you ever use the internet or anything like that, you have to have all of your activity linked to a specific account. Not so much like Facebook, where if you've got like a Facebook account, it'll link it to all of your, posts that you make on like news websites and stuff like that, like on Huffington Post or nothing like that. Or if you like subscribe to an app, you know what I'm talking about. You go on like various websites where people can leave comments, and all the comments link to Facebook pages and stuff like that is what I'm talking about. Gosh dang it. But they want to make it so that everybody has to have a social media account, like whenever they use the internet, like they can't do anything anonymously anymore. And I think that'd be interesting. Not to say that I'm in favor of that, of course not. But I think that would be interesting because it makes it so that you can't say ridiculous things, and if you do say ridiculous things, then you can like be chastised for it. You can be berated for being like a tool, or whatever like that. But my biggest problem with that is that if you say anything that anybody doesn't agree with, then they can just go in your history and like mock everything you've ever said before, even if it's not something worth mocking. It can just be something like very, very innocent, like, you know what, I just don't really like those filthy Native Americans. And that's not that big of a deal to say that out loud. But if you said something like, I thought that Tron 2 was a pretty bad movie, then they'll look at all your comments that you leave on other websites and they'll say, you don't like Native Americans, well, that makes you a racist. And I'm like, well, how does that make me a racist? I'm Native American myself. I'm 164th Cherokee on my mother's side. And then they'd say, well, you know why you probably got that Native American blood in your body is because all the American settlers used to rape the Indians, and then that's why there's so many people who are like half Cherokee or whatever. You say half Native American, but it's actually like, I'm actually not sure how different more like physiologically different tribes are from one another, but like you could say you're half Sioux or half Native, like what I said before, Cherokee. Those are the only two I can think of right now. Potawatomi, Keokuk. Those are names of Indians, not so much tribes of Indians, but you know what I'm talking about. I don't sound super insane, I hope. At the very least, if you think I'm crazy, that's fine. That's, I honestly can't fault you for that because that's your opinion, and I can't fault you for having an opinion because I'm a nice guy. I like to listen to other people's opinions. That's what I'm mostly about, is listening to like opinion pieces, things that people have to say. Maybe I don't agree with them necessarily, but it's always a nice treat. It's always a nice treat for me to be able to try to relate with other people on a genuine level, try to make myself maybe a little more tolerable to the people around me, because here's the thing. At the very least, if you're going to try to be a genuine person, you can at least, just not be rude to other people. Like, that, I don't know. Just being rude is the biggest thing. It gets under my skin so hard. Like, you're going to get into the elevator and then somebody doesn't hold it open for you when you're running towards it, even though you look like a fool when you slam into the elevator face first because they didn't open it for you, even though they were going to. And then it's like a sitcom, and then you turn around and then you meet this like nice handsome man there, and he like takes you out to a bowling alley, and then you get to know each other, but then you find out that he's like separated from his estranged wife or something like that, and they're just temporarily separated. Then he falls back in love with her, and then you find out that he's got a brother who's just like him but richer, and then you marry him, and then that's how the movie goes with Sandra Bullock. Thank you. I just made that up. That's not something that I've actually seen, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was like very similar to a plot of a movie that exists. If you want to send me a link to a movie that is maybe more like that, I don't know, like Star Wars or The Big Lebowski. I've never seen those films, so I can't say if they're like that or not. So I'd like to just know. Just that, I'm just curious. It's not that I care so much. I'm just mostly curious. So yeah, let's talk more about films. I haven't watched any films lately. I did watch Pretty in Pink, and I also watched what's it called? Tina Fey. what's her name? Amy Poehler. The one where Amy Poehler is a surrogate Tina Fey. Oh God, why can't I think about it? This is gonna bother me a lot, so I'm just gonna sit here and try to remember what it's called. Baby Mama is what it's called. And then Amy Poehler's like this like wacky girl, like white trash girl who's like in a relationship with a guy, and she likes to party and stuff. And then she doesn't tell him that she's doing the whole surrogate thing, and then it becomes a huge problem with them later in the film. And then she doesn't, or she was never pregnant in the first place, and she doesn't carry the baby to term. And then I think the movie ends with Tina Fey's character finally getting pregnant, like the woman she always wanted to be. She was made to feel like a natural woman, you know, like that song "Natural Woman." Yeah, I'm done talking about Baby Mama. Rest in peace, Baby Mama. I don't know. That wasn't a good movie. Well, it was an okay movie. I don't remember it very well, but if you don't know by now, I like to watch stupid like rom-coms and then talk about them like I know all about rom-coms. Even though, you know, some of them aren't bad. I did watch Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and Jason Segel was in there, and he's an okay actor. I like him. And Russell Brand, he was also in there. He's kind of weird. I've heard that Russell Brand has a micro penis. I don't know if that's true or not, but if you have a micro penis, you know what? Just call me. I'll talk you through it. I can give you some support. Not that I would know anything about that, because I'm very well endowed for a man. But Mr. Brand, you know, I understand it's difficult. People want to make fun of you, and well, if you're a celebrity, if you're somebody who's in the public eye, people just want to make fun of you, like Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and all those people. They just get ridiculed, not because of anything that they've like done really, but mostly just because they are in the public eye. It's like the more people know about a certain person, the more people there are making fun of that person, and that's just kind of how it goes. Like Charlie Sheen, and he's talking about Tiger Blood, and it's like funny because he's winning, but at the same time you're just like, this man, clearly he needs some sort of psychological assistance, and nobody's giving it to him because he's receiving like validation from the crazy things he's saying on Twitter. And you know, I guess that's fine for the most part. If he wants to be that guy who says those things that everybody thinks are crazy, then all the more power to him. You know, it's not anyone's place to like call anyone out for saying crazy things, or you know, whatever. But you do realize that when you are in the public eye, you do have an image, and if you don't uphold that image, if you do anything out of the ordinary, people will notice, and they will probably judge you for it and try and figure out why you're doing it. Or maybe they're just more concerned about like, well, he was in the 2.5 Men, and I just want him to be happy and healthy. But if he's not going to be happy and healthy, then we're just going to laugh at him. We're going to laugh at him. And that's not, I don't think that's okay, laughing at your fellow human beings. Clearly there's something wrong with him. But whatever. Let's talk about Steve Martin. I like Steve Martin. He's a good man, that's Steve Martin. He was in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and he was also in, that's the only movie I can think of that he was in. No, there's others. I don't know. I'm just being a wise guy. I'm being a wise guy, and that's, you know, I just want you to realize that's just what I like to do on my shows. I like to have fun. I like to poke fun jabbies, and just, you know, have a good time. I'm all about having a good time. I like to party. I do like to party, though, and that's kind of a problem. I have toned it down a little bit. I used to drink like every fucking night after school because I was just a sad boy. But now I only drink most nights after school because I'm still a sad boy, but I don't go to school, so that was a joke. Don't think I'm being serious anyways. No, I was in a dark place. I don't know. We've all been sad. We've all had our sad holes. If you want to go more into depth about how being sad is like, then I guess we can do that a little bit. I used to wake up and I'd still be tired after sleeping for like 8 or 9 hours because I was in college at the time and I was very tired all the time, and that's just how college is. If you've ever been to college, you know about that. And I would wake up and I'd still be like super exhausted. I'd go to class. I'd immediately be yawning because I couldn't be bothered to concentrate because it was the last thing on my radar of anything that I cared about. It didn't matter to me. It didn't make a single lick of difference to me, and I couldn't handle it. So I stopped going to class, And that's not something you want to do when you're in school, is stop going to class. Because if you stop going to class, then you start failing classes, and that's a problem. That's a huge problem if I ever did see one. So that's why, I think that's why people go to college without really having a game plan for their life. They don't really know what they want to do. So they just start, doing what they think they should do. Like somebody who's good at art in high school thinks maybe I should go into graphic design, because if I go into graphic design, I can make a living doing art. And then you'll think to yourself, it's not that hard. But the school I went to, you have there's like a probationary period. You have to take all the classes that nobody wants to take, but you have to take them anyways, because they're part of the curricular of the class that you're taking. And if you don't care about the subject matter, like you're doing watercolors or something, I've always hated fucking doing watercolors, fuck that. Then you stop caring, especially if you're like a sad boy. You stop caring, and then you don't do the work, and then you fail because you're not doing the work. And then you start getting berated by classmates who are like, well, you're clearly talented. I don't understand why you're having such a hard time, making a difference in your work. You've done the thing where you take like a black sheet of paper and draw on it with like white chalk. You know what I'm talking about, that whole shit. The tank. Okay, I get it. I understand. I get it. I understand. Let's just keep going. So, you're taking these classes, excuse me, and you're failing them, and it's very sad. You feel ashamed, but you don't care enough to do anything about it. And I think that's the biggest thing that I'm going after right now, is that that's how depression works, is you feel like you're not accomplishing anything, but you still don't do anything to fix it. And I've been there. I'm sure you've been there too. We've all been there. We should all hold hands, sing Kumbaya, and then just kind of like have a day. I don't know. We should go camping, you and me. I like camping. Camping's fun. We went camping one time at a park near where I live, and they were having like barbecue days or whatever. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like, oh no, it was called Jonesburg barbecue days, and they were having that at the park. But it's not like a park like Central Park is a park. It's more like a forest that is called a park, if you know what I mean. And so there were a lot of people there, but they all left at night because they weren't like staying there for the night. They were just having fun while we were out. Just having like grilling hot dogs and hamburgers, and just stuff like that. Having a day, having a family day, because that's what people like to do, is hang out with their family. Well, some people do, not me so much. I'm a lone wolf. I am one man who is also a wolf, and if you want to call me out on my wolf, then you can go and do that, because wolf is wolf. What am I talking about? I don't even know. I don't know. I was going on earlier about how online identities, it's crazy. You can, like, you're talking about how, like, you can make fun of fat people on Twitter, or you can make fun of down people on fark.com, and it's like, it's funny because they can't do anything about it. Like, they can't defend themselves. Fat people can't defend themselves because they can't reach the keyboard, and retarded people can't defend themselves because they don't know how computers work. They think it's magic, and they're afraid of magic. If I was a down boy, I'd be afraid of magic too, because magic, it's, while it's very cool, the concept of magic, it's also very terrifying, and I don't want to be that guy, the guy who cowers at everything because he doesn't understand it, which is what I think a lot of Republicans like to do, is they like to go like, oh, political humor, SparkleDart, you're talking about political humor. Republican people, they don't understand something, so they start to criticize it. But you could say that that's exclusive to Republicans, but it's also very true of liberals as well. They're very like snarky people, They like to snark here and there and all around the square, and it's silly to me when, well, first of all, it's silly to me when like liberals call Republicans or conservative stupid, but I think either side that leans too far to its own side is like just as stupid. I don't know. You can't tell me that all Republicans are stupid and then also like believe in like free healthcare and stuff like that, because who's supposed to be funding this healthcare? You can't subsidize that much healthcare, you little boy. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, we're sending millions of dollars of revenue to Iraq every single day, or not Iraq, to Israel every single day, and you send them like $10 million a day. Why are we doing that? Why we could just use that money for our own healthcare? And let me tell you this right now: if we didn't help out Iraq, or keep saying Iraq, Israel, then they would just cease to exist. And we have to help the Jews. They're nice people. Those Jews. They give us sitcoms, and they give us that's the most important thing that I can think of that they give us. Bagels. They give us bagels too, and certain types of deli meats. You ever go to a kosher deli? Let me tell you what, they've got the best meats there. And I'm not just being crazy. That's actually what I think. Because when you're going to a kosher deli, it has to be like prepared in a certain way. And the way that they prepare it for it to be kosher also happens to be super healthy. And I think that might be what kosher is all about, is just being healthy, like being a healthier person. Because if you're going to, eat stuff, like drink Mountain Dew or Pepsi or eat, donuts and stuff that you really shouldn't be eating because it's, bad for you, that's fine, but you have to learn how to do that in moderation. See, I don't think anybody would be fat if they just ate in moderation. You don't have to exercise to be thin. I know a ton of hippies. I know literally hundreds of hippies that don't exercise and they're not fat. That's because they don't eat anything besides kale. And you might be thinking to yourself, SparkleDart, I don't want to eat kale. And let me tell you this right now, I'm not going to tell you to eat kale. Kale's disgusting. It's like salad. But if you really want to eat healthy, and if you want to try to eat kale, then you can always put shit on there ranch dressing's always a good bet. Ranch dressing can go on anything. So can srirachas and ketchup. I like, but I wouldn't put that on kale. That would be a little much. That'd be a little too far in the wrong direction. And maybe now you're thinking to yourself, SparkleDart, you're really not going to eat kale. Okay, that's fine, but don't tell anybody else that they shouldn't eat kale, because I don't see how that's your place. Your judgment's not welcome here. People shouldn't be listening to you for health advice, and I'm not going to tell them that they should be. All I'm going to say is if you want to eat healthier, then you have to make a conscious effort to start doing that. You can't wait for the right moment. You can't keep saying, well, I'll start this weekend. We'll throw away all the junk food that we have. We'll start eating healthy this weekend. And then we'll just have fun. But then your friend invites you to go out to Buffalo Wild Wings, and you're like, well, I really shouldn't because I was going to start a diet today. He's like, well, you haven't started the diet yet, have you? And you're like, no, I guess I technically haven't started the diet yet. And then they'll just be like, well, that's fine then. You can come with us to Buffalo Wild Wings. And then you go with them, and then you eat a 15-piece boneless basket, whereas you could have avoided eating anything at all, or you could have got celery. They give you free celery at Buffalo Wild Wings, so why wouldn't you just get the celery plate or whatever, and then ended it there, because that would be a lot better of a choice for you if you really wanted to lose weight than going to Buffalo Wild Wings and eating a 15-piece boneless basket like a fucking animal. Not to say that it's not delicious food, of course, because I love me some Buffalo Wild Wings. They certainly know how to make a good wing, but that's not really my point. My point is, moreover, that I think some people just need to learn how to moderate what they eat, what they put in their bodies, their gullets, their stomachs. And people don't like to do that, because changing your diet is hard, especially when you go to work and you've got a vending machine there that you can just eat a sandwich out of, and the sandwich has Colby Jack and 5 different types of cheeses, but no vegetables are on there, nothing like that. And it's well, it's not my fault if my work doesn't supply a healthier meal options for us. And I'm well, it kind of is if you choose to eat it, because you could always pack your own lunch. And then you're well, I don't want to pack my own lunch because I'm afraid somebody else will eat it. And I'm if you label your lunch box, no one else is going to eat it. Trust me. And if you're really that concerned about it, then just get an ice pack and put it in your fucking desk or something, you scrub. You bitch boy. I don't want to tell you that what you're doing is wrong, but obviously if you can't figure that out for yourself, then maybe you do have a problem. Maybe you have a problem that needs to be solved with a good spanking. I'm going to spank you. And that's a SparkleDart promise. I'm going to spank you with my fist. So it's not much of a spank more over than it is like a slap or a punch. It depends on whether the fist is clenched or not when it strikes your cheek. And I'm not talking about your face cheek, buddy bear. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep talking until I'm done because I'm almost done. That's fine. Ooh. Everything just changed. Let me tell you what, Buster Brown. Everything just changed for me. Ooh, Eden. Alright. So we're gonna keep on going, I guess. You might be wondering, SparkleDart, where did you go to college? I'm not gonna tell you where I went to college. It was a public university, and I did go there. And the mascot is a cardinal, and the colors are cardinal and gold. But that's all the information I'm going to tell you. Because if I give you any more, that's going to give it away. I think what I told you is vague enough that you will never figure it out. That's a joke, because with what I told you, it's very easy to figure out. But it's up to you to put in the effort, buddy. Buddy bear, buddy boy, tiny boy, little baby girl. I like using the word baby. I think it's a good word. I don't know, it's just funny to call people baby. Like, little baby boy, huh? We want to go to the park? And then he's like, yeah. And they're like, well, we're not going to go to the park because the car's in the shop and the park's like 5 miles away from here, and I don't want to drive that far. So you can go ahead and tell your mother that we played outside today. You know, we've got like an above, like one of those little tyke pools, even though you're like 10 years old. And you don't want to play in there because you look like a child, and you've got like one of your neighbors is in your class, and you know that he doesn't like you. So if he sees you doing anything stupid, then he will like tell everybody in school the next day that you were like playing in a children's pool. And that's why we had to throw away all of your Tonka trucks, is because you were getting made fun of for still playing with those in school, even though like who cares, honestly, because you were still you were like 9 at the time. And it's like, why is it funny that he's playing with toys? If he should be playing with toys rather than, what else should he be doing? Like playing Angry Birds on his Android smartphone? I don't think so. I don't want my child to use a smartphone because I think smartphones are immoral. There's no way to put a parent lock on there. You just have to like block the browser, and I don't want to block the browser app because the browser app's super important. What if he wants to go on Wikipedia and learn about Henry Dogger or something like that? Who am I to tell him that he can't do that? His father is who I am to tell him that he can't do that. But for some reason I still feel like it's not my place to tell him what he can and can't watch, even though it absolutely is, because that's what it means to be a parent. I'm not a parent, by the way. These are all jokes. These are all jokes.com. Check them out. Alright, so Final Frontier. You want to stop that, buddy? Okay, there we go. Hey, fella, stop it. I'm not interested in what you're offering me. I'm just trying to live my life. Okay, here we go. Things are getting real, so I'm going to go ahead and quiet down for just a second. Pipe down. Because I got to concentrate. You know, I don't really concentrate on what I do when I play this fucking show. Alright, that was easy enough. So, I guess we can call this one good. Thank you for watching SparkleDart. I have been SparkleDart. And, I don't know. Let's talk about Culver's for a second. You like Culver's? I really think it's stupid how they call the hamburgers butter burgers, and they call their shakes concrete mixes, and they call their fries like salty potato wedges and stuff like that. But it's like crinkle cut, and every restaurant, every fast food restaurant seems to think that they have to have like a different style of French fry. Like McDonald's has those thin ones. The Burger King has steak fries. Arby's has curly fries, and Culver's has crinkle cut, and it just goes on and on like that, down like a fucking docket. And that's, you know, that's fine if you want to be different, but don't be so different. Like, eventually there's going to be some sort of restaurant that has, like, I don't know, sweet potato fries, and I'm gonna be like, that's disgusting, because I like putting ketchup on my french fries, but I don't want to have, like, ketchup on sweet potato fries, because I'm not a disgusting human boy who doesn't know how to do, like, even 5 push-ups. So whatever. Anyways, thank you for watching, SparkleDart. Goodbye. Mwah.